Good morning and welcome to John Beck. This is your principal, Mr. Lin, and I hope that you had a wonderful weekend. Today is Monday, January 13th, 2025. It is a day D for instrumentals. It's a day 2. Now, before we kick off this wonderful day, I want to invite you, as I always do, to please stand and face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Go ahead and take a seat. I'm so happy that you guys are here in school. You showing up makes my day. And I mean that. I love seeing you guys come through our door. I love knowing that you guys are filling up our school. You guys are breathing life into our building. It's my favorite part of being a principal. I can't be a principal if there aren't any students. And you guys fulfill that dream. So thank you so much. Now, we've got to work together. You all know that. And as we continue on into this 2025 part of the school year, I want us to think about what our expectations are. They are no different. Number one, be respectful to yourself as well as to others. You deserve it. Other people deserve it. It's pretty simple. Number two, show that you are responsible. Be responsible with your feelings, with the way you think, and your actions. There are things that we can do that are irresponsible, but there are things that you can actively do if you just pause and think about it that are responsible. They are kind and loving and they're encouraging. Be responsible for the things that you are in control of. And yes, you are in control of a lot. And number three, show that you are ready to be the best version of yourself. Feed that good wolf, right? That makes sense. There are so many versions of ourselves. You know, last week, there were 2 football games that didn't always make me want to show the best version of myself. My Penn State Nittany Lions, they lost in the Orange Bowl. That was tough, and as I was angry at my team, admittedly, or moments where my team wasn't living up to what I thought it could play like, yeah, I had the opportunity to perhaps feed that angry side and really be upset at the TV, be upset in the living room, and perhaps even be upset the next day. And of course, later on in the weekend, my Steelers made it into the playoffs and promptly got kicked out by, yes, Mrs. Allen's Ravens. And if I didn't feed the best version of myself, I could be pretty upset. That brings me back to something else I want to talk about. We've already talked about our 3 expectations. Being ready, right? Be ready to be the best version of yourself. But that does mean that sometimes you have to think about your brain, right? There are moments where maybe you expect something to happen, but it doesn't. Maybe someone said that something was going to happen, but it didn't happen. Maybe the plans have changed. Maybe your team you thought was going to go to the national championship, but then they let you down. How do you allow your brain to not get so fixated on it? Have you ever been there where you want to do something and you have it in your mind it's going to happen? Maybe you've seen your older or younger siblings go through this, right? You have it in your head and something changes. And I'm talking about this because I've heard a lot of teachers and I've heard some of our therapists here at the school use a term called rock brain, right? You're stuck like a rock. Your brain is stuck like a rock. So what I want to ask you guys to do is notice those moments when you are in a rock brain. Maybe you're a Penn State fan, you're still upset because you expected to go to the national championship. No, let that rock brain go. There are moments where perhaps you thought you were going to go out to recess, but then Mr. Lin says it's too cold, and so the whole school has to stay inside for recess. You might be upset about that. Your brain has turned into a rock. It won't budge. It won't move. It won't be flexible. We're going to talk about rock brain in the next few morning announcements. However, I want you to start thinking about noticing when you are in those moments where your brain is stuck. When your brain is stuck, it is a good place and it's a good time to just name what's going on. Man, I'm stuck in a rock brain. We'll talk about getting out of the rock brain. But noticing when you are in a rock brain, that applies to kids, it applies to our assistants, it applies to our teachers, it applies to your principal, and it applies to your parents. No one has it 100% mastered, but the more we are able to recognize it, the better. This is a new series we'll be talking about. We'll be talking about rock brain and how to get our mind to be a little bit more flexible. But it starts with just pausing and just recognizing, well, yeah, sometimes we can get ourselves in a rock brain. I love you. You know that part. I care about you. You know that part. I'm here to encourage you. Encourage you. Still working on it. Just know that I'm being genuine every time I say that. And I also want you to share that love, care, and encouragement back to me, as well as to your teachers and to the assistants and all the grown-ups and your classmates. I can't wait to see you guys around. Have an awesome day. And as always, I like you just the way you are.